All right, board. I think we're live today as well. We made it.
Good.
And welcome to this live stream. Today we're going to talk about or another design pattern where basically we use products to create other products.
Yeah, and there's so many examples, right, where
Ready?
you have a product where it actually is created from other products.
Bundle.
Bundle is a great example, but also you have more like composite products, to use a fancy word again, like a pizza.
Like a pizza.
Because a pizza consists of several other produce, right? So we'll use that as our Hello World example today. It's not Hello
And
World.
also because we like pizza.
That's the reason. That's the reason. So let's jump into the pattern here, because Didrik likes pizza. He's actually got a new pizza oven. So if you're in the neighborhood, Anyhow, this is a good example of a composite product, right? So it's a product consisting of other components. And what we want to achieve with this design pattern is basically say that, okay, we have the product. It's a pizza margarita recipe that basically consists of several other parts, right? This is a very typical example that you will see. Product bundles, help me, Didrik. Other examples. Bill of material, yeah, that's a good one, right? What are the parts that are required to make this? Or, as you said, bundles or nutritional breakdown, for example. This
That's
much
another
fat,
one.
this much sugar. Yeah.
The ones we usually see is, of course, for this kind of use cases, for especially bill of materials recipes, but also, of course, bundles.
Yeah.
In Crystallize, there's also a way to model it, because either your bundle is just a group of products with an amount or quantity without another SKU, or it's a different SKU. So there's different ways and approaches to work with it, where you can either have your own SKU for that bundle to know exactly this is the bundle, or it's just basically a bill of materials. These were the products in that bundle.
Yeah, and SKU is what we call product invariance in Crystallize, stock keeping unit. And that refers to a particular version of a product. So it's the blue sweater, for example, in size large. Anyhow, so we call this pattern Quantized Classification Bridge. So the idea is that you have what we call in Crystallize different shapes, right? So you have a recipe and we have a product. And the recipe here includes, it has a bridge to several other products. Instead of, you could have written this in rich text, right? To make this, it is required 25 grams of basil, for example. That's fine, but you can't use that for much programmatically, for filtering, for sorting, or to feeding an AI to do something more brilliant with it, right? So that's why we have designed this with what we call the Quantized Classification Bridge. Basically, it's the relation where you also have the quantization, right, Didrik? How much, but not just as a unit, 1, 2, or 3, right? Because we also want to define the how many grams, how many pieces, how many liters, etc. So this is a quite flexible pattern that allows you to design quite rich models. You could do simple like product bundles with this, where you say, okay, festival special includes 2 of this pattern product, 3 of that, and be fine with this.
Once again, this is only naming everything you see here. You could say, instead of ingredient here, it could be bundle includes, and the amount could be quantity. And then you just have quantity 1x this product, maybe another one, hence the repeating sign here, that you add another, and then in that sense you can create a bundle. This is what your bundle consists of.
And we use this example because it's everybody likes pizza, right? This is how you can make a pizza. But let's say you have this as a piece of content marketing because you're selling produce. You can also envision this as an add to basket, right? So you can have a bundle of all of those products to be bought at the same time. So that's essentially the pattern. And just to get back to our hello world example for data model in Crystallize is essentially this, right? Where we have a piece of content called a recipe, which includes different types of marketing information, like the chef that has created it, but also then the actual ingredients that are required then to kind of make this dish. So that's the hello world example we use in data modeling. And this is exactly for the ingredients. This is the quantized pattern that we are talking about here. And to show how it could look in Crystallize, we've made a very, very inspiring dish here, where you essentially have some spaghetti that is going to be made. So we have the marketing. It's a joke, right? Yeah. So we have the marketing, but you have a picture of the dish and you have the directions. So multiple steps. This is how you boil the water, you put in the pasta, etc. That's not the point today, but that's typically what you would have as, call it marketing or inspirational content, if you would then want to sell the produce if you're selling food. So here we have the ingredients already set up, and here we see that there's a couple of things here. First of all, we have the amount, and here it says 2 pieces of tomato. You could say 2 liters, you could say grams, etc. So it's both the quantity, but also the unit, right? So it's not just 2 of this product. You can also define more specifically teaspoons. Pieces are probably most natural in this case, right? So you have this repeating relation to a product where you also define how much in the relation.
Important note here is also that we restricted the item relation component to only take 1 item and maximum 1 item. Because if you were to add, okay, let's just do flowers and tomatoes in the same, the amount numeric wouldn't make any more sense. Yeah. It's just a way to add semantics on top again.
Yeah. And again, this is used here to make a cooking recipe or a cooking bundle, buy everything to make this dish. And the way it works editorially is that I can here, you see, I have to select an ingredient, egg, and I need 6. And then you need to select a unit, 6 pieces of eggs. So 6 units of eggs is required for this. So that's essentially the pattern. And then there's so many use cases for this. But essentially it's using the same. I mean, if you have a sofa, how many meters of the fabric is required, right? So you can have dynamic pricing based off of a pricing for maybe the base pricing of a sofa, and then pricing of per meter for the amount of fabric that is going to be used. So that's
one of the key parts here is that since you are adding a relation to, well, in this case, the recipe, you will have access to everything that in this case is egg inside of that relation. So let's say that best example here is that you have something that has a unit, 250 grams of flour in a case. Then you can also do the calculations on your end. How much do you need to buy based on how many servings? Because you have all the semantics and all the information in there already.
Another example, to get back to the previous example that we did on the in our other live stream, basically you could also fetch all the allergens from all of the ingredients and summarize it. It's like this dish has these allergens, right? So that you can use it very inspirational or to create richer storytelling, to either inspire or inform, again, your potential customers to actually purchase the products that you're presenting for them. So that's in essence the pattern, and this is how it works editorially. If we switch on an information architect hat, we can take a look at the shape, which is the structure of, in this case, the document, which is called recipe. And essentially here we have, the components that we talked about for storytelling. So summary, picture, directions, instruction video, prep time. That's not what we're talking about today, but it's this component here where we've added we call it a chunk, which is a component that consists of other components that we can name. So here we've added a numeric component and a relation component. For the relation component, we've also defined min, max, 1, and we only accept ingredients here. And in this case, we also have a quick select so that it gets it from the groceries or produce location. In addition, we've set on the numeric, we have defined it's 2 decimals, and these are the units that we want to accept, right? So that you can kind of define the full structure of how we want the relation to be set up. And this is the quantized part, right? Where you say 2 liters of water, for example, to boil the pasta. Very important ingredient, not that expensive. And we also define here that it's repeatable, so that you can have multiple of this relation in, for example, a bundled product, or as we have here, a cooking recipe that you can purchase in one go.
Yeah, and one other key part here would also be that it has a localized structure, which means that when you are going to translate the chunks, you only need to translate what is text that needs to be in a different language, because the recipe is probably the same in every language, and the same also goes for, in this case, I would say the step-by-step guide.
And that's an important point, right? Because what we're trying to achieve is, some of the design patterns that we focus on is reusable data, so that you only have the same data once. It enables better multilingual support, right? Because you only have to translate the details of an ingredient once. And of course, the more semantic structure you have for your data, the better it is for automation, reuse in other channels, and also to power, if you're going to feed this data to AI, you want it to be as structured and as describing as possible. So that is for you the Quantized Classification Bridge design pattern. This is probably the second most commonly used design pattern that we see in Crystallize projects. So lots of use cases. Take it for a spin and see how it applies to your data model. If you want to be notified about the next live stream,
design pattern,
which will be another design pattern,
what
do you need to do then?
Sorry?
What do you need to do if you want to be notified about the next
one?
Yeah,
so you need to subscribe. That's what you want me to say. Thank you all. Thanks for listening. I think that's it for today.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.